How is the San Jose real estate market doing now we're in the first week of October and heading into the presidential elections? Did last month's increase in pending sales turn into closed sales this month? And how did September's new pending sales look? Comparison. Well, stay tuned as we go into the real data. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com, your local San Jose, California realtor. And today we're talking about the real data of San Jose closings through September 2020. Back in the first week of August, I studied how the real estate market is affected by the presidential elections. And I made a couple predictions based on that study. If you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out above. But the overall summary was I would expect that inventory would drop, the number of sales would actually increase, and prices would probably slightly soften, but not enough to go below 2019 numbers. So is that really true? Well, let's take a look at the real data and charts to understand what's going on. Okay, here we are with the overview of the market for San Jose single-family homes. So the average price, as you can see, was pretty flat, just up 0.5%, a really minor amount. But the biggest news is the number of sales were up 20%. That is a really significant from one month to another, especially in autumn, or as we're heading into the autumn season and in an election year, as mentioned before. So that is definitely in alignment with what I mentioned that sales would increase. We're seeing that definitely from the predictions of an election year real estate market. So the market is still obviously very strong. Let's look at the actual chart. Now here is the chart of the San Jose market from 2012 through September 2020. So as you can see, the prices here, the orange line dotted across is right at the closing average price for San Jose single-family homes in October, which was $1,340,000. Now, if we draw that all the way back to the peak of this year, which was in March, right before we were shut down for coronavirus, and the peak of 2018, we are pretty much in alignment with those peak numbers. Not quite there yet with the September sales, but very close. The biggest difference I want to point out here is look at this yellow line. Look at our inventory numbers, extremely low inventory. And typically this time of year, as you can see here, we would see prices dropping, inventory dropping, and and sales actually dropping, right? And we're still seeing an increase in sales and inventory slightly dropping, but not really significantly, and prices holding steady. So very interesting and very different. So let's dig in some of the actual inventory and pending sales numbers, which are pretty exciting. So today in San Jose, it is still a very strong seller's market. We are at days of inventory of only 20. That is down from the previous month. And partially because the inventory continued to drop. It is down 13% from August, or the September numbers were, and down 60% year over year. As you could see in that chart, we are way low on inventory. Now the pending sales are way up again. I can't believe this. Normally September pending sales are softening, not going up. So August, we had a big increase in pending sales. September, even up more, 14.7% more pending sales in September than August, while inventory is dropping. This is really interesting. But again, if you would listen to my election predictions, I did say that the inventory would be decreasing, yet the number of sales would be increasing. So what that's done, of course, is cause multiple offers and bidding up of property. So on average, houses are closing at 3.3%. Now, those are sales that closed in September, so they went in contract in August when the market started to heat up. But as you can see, it's continuing to be hot and a very strong seller's market in September. So it'll be very interesting to see what those October closing numbers come in at. The biggest news here is we are way up. 64% of single-family homes that were on the market are in contract, and that's up from 57% the month before. So the pending sales were so strong that we're actually hitting a huge peak. We had pending sales of 601 in September. The last time we were near that number was May 2016, so 4.5 years ago almost. So that is really significant and a huge record of new contracts. Now, the condo market, I just want to point out, is a little bit different. There is quite a bit more inventory in the condo market, and we have seen an increased number of sales, but still about 46 days of inventory. So still a strong seller's market, but not nearly as hot and electric as the single family home market. So let's talk about interest rates. I do believe this is a lot of what's driving this market right now and buyers to jump in and really want to get in. We have a 2.88% average 30-year fixed mortgage. Now that costs a little bit of points to get that, but if you're looking at different lenders and different options, there are plenty of options that are in that range without points or even lower. But that just gives you a general overview. But on record, look at this. If we're tracking the same metric, this is over the last 3 years. It has just continued to go down with a little tiny spike in early 2020. But other than that, a decrease. Amazing. Really inexpensive money, obviously. Now, here is a chart that I also keep an eye on, and this is the average price in Santa Clara County for single family homes versus the S&P 500. So we, as you know, are very driven by the stock market here due to RSUs and a lot of large international companies. And so people are using that stock money to make down payments on homes, and so that drives the market, obviously. Now, there is only about 5 times that these numbers have gone in opposite directions, and one of those was late 2019, where the stock market continued to increase, but the housing market actually slowed down and prices softened quite a bit. Okay, here's a chart I like to keep track as well with the S&P 500 versus the prices in Santa Clara County. These are the single family home prices on average. And the reason I take watch of this is because the companies in this area have a lot of RSUs and are big international companies with strong stock options. And that really does help to drive our single family home market. And so as you can see, there are 5 yellow circles on here that represent areas where these two numbers were in opposition. But generally over this 20-year history, as you can see, they do track each other pretty well. So one interesting area was in late 2019, where the stock market continued to appreciate, yet the housing market didn't. It started to decrease. So they were in opposition then. And then when coronavirus hit here in the US in March 2020, there was a huge drop in the stock market, and the housing market didn't see that level of correction. But what happened, as you can see, we're now back in alignment. There were some predictions that people had said that housing prices were going to fall. I didn't feel that. I didn't see any indicators of that. And here, this is proving again that it didn't happen, and it did slow down and soften a little bit. But the prices didn't fall out of the sky, but the stock market has now recovered and is back in alignment. So we are leaving that yellow bubble, which is great news. Now, moving on to unemployment. Thankfully, unemployment continues to decrease. These are August numbers. The September numbers haven't been updated, but we're down to 7.5%. Thankfully, that is getting better and looking to be a sharp trend to getting even more improved and helping out our economy locally. So the overall San Jose market direction obviously is very positive, and prices are strong, even fueled by these low interest rates and extremely low inventory and multiple offers. Closed sales are up, and the pendings are up again at record numbers. And the inventory is a record low for September. I didn't really highlight that earlier, but we are at almost winter levels of inventory here in September, which is very rare, and again, fueling those multiple offers. And it is a seller's market with only 20 days of inventory, very strong. So as we head into the election, I expect this to continue, for inventory to stay low and buyer demand to stay pretty strong. I do expect that to taper off a little bit, which might affect prices slightly, but not enough to show a year-over-year decrease. We're still going to expect to see a year-over-year increase in prices as we end out this year. So overall, a very positive market. To get more information on my predictions with how the election will affect the housing market, please check out this video here, or check out the buyer seller playlist for more information on how to buy or sell a home in San Jose area. Thanks for watching.